We're live, we're live.
We're now live.
We're live, we're live.
Everybody's feeling.
Yeah.
And well, it has been a huge 24 hours for Take That. Their 8th studio album, Wonderland, was released this morning, and there's a lot planned. So there's a carpool karaoke with James Corden tonight as part of Comic Relief. Saturday night takeaway tomorrow, a huge signing at HMV. But of course, they are first live with Bizarre.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
Thanks
guys.
for coming
Thank
down
you.
to our
Great to be here.
lovely rehearsal room.
And yeah, so you were rehearsing here for an audience with Take
That's
That,
right,
which
yeah.
is coming.
Yeah,
as
which
well.
we're shooting next week. But yeah, we actually thought we were going to be playing some live tunes for you today.
Well, we're going to have to wait for that, aren't
So
we?
yeah.
But you are tomorrow night on Saturday night.
Exactly.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Which will be great.
We're opening and closing the show.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, look, if you have any questions for Take That, this is your chance. Just comment on the live now. Plus, guys, I'm going to be testing you very shortly. We're going to be opening up the Biz Archive to look back
Biz
at some of
Archive,
your
ooh.
most famous quotes. These
Uh-oh.
are a little bit
Like that.
naughty, so be warned about that. But first, guys, I have to say congratulations. Look, this is the album. Here it is, Wonderland. I have had the privilege of listening to this for the last 48 hours, and I have to say it's an absolutely brilliant, brilliant album.
Thank you.
You've got a lot of pressure this week, though, don't you, to knock a certain Mr. Ed Sheeran off number one.
Oh, I
Are you
don't-
feeling
I
confident?
don't think that's going to happen.
We don't really think
No.
about that, especially against Ed Sheeran. He's great artist, isn't he?
And at this point, you know, we're about 26 years into our career. You just want to be somewhere in that top 10. That'd be great. So fingers
I think-
crossed.
Yeah, I think you'll probably do that perfect album for Mother's Day, of course, as well.
Mother's
which
Day on
is
Sunday.
Yeah. Yes.
Although, when I first listened, I thought, well, Take That have gone a little bit experimental because Wonderland, right, the opening track, starts a little bit differently. And then I had to ask, put your hand up, who wrote this first lyric? I'll be your king, I'll be your queen, and all that happens in between. Who's
I
responsible
think all
for
three
that?
of us will put our hand up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
Please talk to me about
well,
that lyric.
you know what? It's an interesting track, this, because what always happens with our records is there's a point you get to where all of a sudden you go, that's what we hang the whole record on. And when we went out to New York, which is one of our favourite places to write, and we were in this place called Electric Lady Studios, which was Jimi Hendrix's old studio, wasn't it? So it's very psychedelic, you know, lots of patterns everywhere and real retro. And Mark came with this title, Wonderland, and we thought, oh, that sounds good. We put the music up, we started to write it, and we wrote that song there. And it's funny because from that point on, all of a sudden, we had a picture for Wonderland. We knew we had something visual for tour, and something else that we could make every track fit to.
Because it does have a 60s psychedelic vibe, actually. But you know what? It's an album that also totally canvases all types of emotion as well, because there's some tracks on there that are pretty deep. I mean, I absolutely love The Last Poet, which is sort of a real soaring ballad. But then you've got a song like New Day, which is very uplifting. I mean, I was saying to Gary, it's almost a bit like the new Shine. So,
Yeah,
you know,
that's it,
it does sort of cover off all areas
And I think
of emotion,
because
doesn't it?
there's three of us in the band as well, and there's three different emotions on different days. I think we over the period of making a record, which takes probably a couple of years. New Day actually is one of the first songs we written after the tour we did 2 years ago. So it was one of the first tracks we did. So we're obviously in high spirits. We come off tour and we're like flying. But I think in a record like that, we all bring different sort of emotions and feelings in it. And during the last 2 years, we've probably all been through those sort of things. Sometimes we felt great, and sometimes maybe not so great, or a little bit more introspective. And I like that. That's what I love about our band, is that you get all those different characters. And in all our records, you get that. It is a journey, and that's what we want Wonderland to be anyway. A bit of a journey. It speaks to people in different ways.
Now, I know it's a bit like choosing your favourite child, but can you pick out what, for each of you, on a personal level, not as a band, is your favourite track and why?
Well, I'll start. I'd say it's the finishing track with All For You.
Which is a huge anthemic.
Yeah, I
moment.
mean, it's beautiful. And I think the reason, I remember Gary bringing it in pretty much, I mean, the demo form was pretty much similar to actually the form that it's in now, except for, you know, the added lyrics and added little bits of music. But I just love it. I think it's a very organic natural way of the way Gary writes, and there wasn't very much that had to be added to it, but I knew straight away this has got to be on the album.
And that will be incredible to perform.
Exactly.
Gary, what about you?
Do you know what? Giants.
Which is the single.
Which is the single. If I could just rewind a little bit, our last album was so hard to make. You know, we were at the point where, is Jason in the band? Is he not in the band? So we spent this year making this record thinking, is it ever going to come out? It was such an unsure time. And although we put everything into it, the memory of it, it was quite unsettled. And I felt, even when we went on TV with that record, it took until the tour for us to really feel like we were becoming a trio. And we felt so strong and confident when we came off that tour. And I think what you find with this album, one of the threads that runs through it, it's very hopeful.
Yeah.
It's always, you're looking upwards, and it's one of those songs you do want to play live. And especially in this uncertain sort of crazy world we're living in at the moment, songs like Hope, It's All For You, New Day, it's all about optimism. And that's how we were feeling when we started writing this record.
Mark, what's your favourite?
I think I'm going to go for the title track today, because we've been doing it in rehearsals this morning. It feels really good. I love the energy of it. I love the lyrics. And
The naughty lyrics.
And it sets up for me the record perfectly, and it sets up the tour. And I love all the colours that are in Wonderland in that as a song, and everybody gets a chance to sort of do a little bit themselves. And it is, I think Wonderland for me today, but tomorrow ask me and it might be something else.
And of course the tour does start in May. So presumably you guys are well on the way in terms of preparation. Is there anything
That worried me.
that
It's
not long away.
Worried me.
Well on the way.
Well on the way.
We're on the way.
Well on the way out.
But do you have any plan in terms of, because I guess the difficult thing for you is now that you have to top the previous tours each time.
Well, I don't think we look at it like that way of trying to top the tours. All we want to do is to try and make the best show we can make. And this time round, for the first time ever, which is a challenge to us, we're doing it in the round, which is going to be very exposed. I mean, the beauty of it is our supporters will get an amazing view of all around the arena.
But there's nowhere to hide.
No, there's nowhere to hide. But talking of ideas, though, you can go back, like Gary said, you can go back to the last album or the last tour where you come off stage and you start writing, and already as soon as you start writing songs, you're already getting ideas. So the ideas are all there. What we want to do is a case of then putting the tracks in and getting into rehearsals. So it's on its way.
It is coming together, but it's quite exciting actually, because it is setting us new challenges being in the middle, which is great for a band that we've done it for a long time, and we're literally sending illustrations, emails, little bits of set list is changing every day. It's slowly. I'm very excited about the way it's developing.
And our stage is being built in Belgium at the moment, and our production manager just opened his laptop and showed us a couple of little clips which look really exciting.
So it's going to get from Belgium to Birmingham.
Exactly.
For opening night.
Yes.
Hopefully
it will.
We are cutting it fine, I think.
Now,
it's being finished.
Of course, it is Red Nose Day, something that you guys really support, Comic Relief, and you have a very special role tonight, because you're the first, other than George Michael, which launched the whole thing, charity British version of Carpool Karaoke with James Corden, which meant that when you were over there in Los Angeles, you get to have the full experience, didn't you?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
We're never going to get to top George Michael's. I mean, that was absolutely fantastic.
Like I said, it launched it all, didn't it? Just a little idea.
Well, the experience of it was absolutely incredible. I mean, we went into the car with James Corden. We couldn't believe how many cameras were actually, about 30 GoPros in there.
Oh, yeah.
All around, different angles, and it was amazing. Just driving around in this circle around LA, singing all the songs. And
it makes me laugh when I always think what other people think, because you're driving down, I don't know, give me a street in LA.
Rodeo Drive.
Rodeo Drive.
We didn't do that.
We didn't do that
one.
one. Not quite as
Melrose.
Melrose.
We were on Melrose.
So we're driving down Melrose Place, and I was thinking, what do the cars must think? Because all the windows are down. we've all got our hands, like 4 grown men, never, screaming down there, and people are just looking at us on the street.
What's going on? Well, that was probably quite normal for Los Angeles. But I mean, what's quite cute about this, though, is that actually it's more of a dream come true for Mr. Corden than for you guys, because, of course, he grew up wanting to be a member of Take That, and I guess for this couple of hours he actually got to be.
It's so sweet. The first time I ever met James Corden, he literally did the whole "it only takes a minute" dance routine. Before I'd even said hello, he just stood in front of us and did the whole routine. I was like, wow, this guy knows all the words, isn't he? He knows everything. He's very, very sweet.
The great thing was seeing how the Americans responded to him there, because let's not forget, he's young British lad's gone out there and he's basically set the world alight with his show. It's
taken
brilliant.
over the world.
I'd love to see it.
He's a good mate to have in LA.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but we love you, James.
You're getting anywhere with James.
And your mates.
Now, have to very quickly mention Let It Shine, because, of course, it was a great show, but it's actually leading to a real purpose now, which is the musical The Band, which opens up north later this year. And I believe 5 to 5 and all the gang are in rehearsals right now. How's it coming along?
We talk about it a lot because I think it's an amazing project for about.
We're really excited.
Yeah.
We're the producers.
It's funny for us because we go to rehearsals to watch, not to be in them. And I have to say, these guys, I think if we'd have gone right across the UK and open auditions, we would not have found a better band than these guys. They're lovely, they're hard-working. They looked a bit tired the other day when we got there. They are literally off stage for about 10 minutes, I think, in about 2 hours. So they've got a big job, but it's going to be amazing.
There's a lot of practice to be done. And actually, just before we get to the Biz Archive, Gary, I have to ask, because you probably were surprised about Shampoo Gate and the international reaction to news that you hadn't washed your hair for 14 years. But I actually hear that you may have discovered that it was longer than 14 years.
I think it was about 17.
17?
Yeah.
And you still haven't put shampoo to that hair?
Well, like I said, the problem was it was at that shoot, the Carpool Karaoke.
Yeah.
We had this lady there from LA, and she put all this wax in my hair. And I got back to and I did the normal rinse. I thought, oh, it's still all sick. I'm going to have to shampoo it. So I had to shampoo it. Which
but
was
since then,
nice.
you haven't.
Oh, no, not since then.
Another 17 years.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, guys, so it is now time to open...
Are they still there?
...the Biz Archive. I think they're still there. They're live, tuning in from around the world.
But they're still there.
I'm sure it's exploding and going up. And so basically, this is where I've delved into the magazine archives to dig out some of your most hilarious lines from interviews back in the day. Okay. But what the trick is, right, is I'm going to read out some of your most interesting answers, and you have to guess who said it.
Oh, I like it. This is my category.
So, the question
is it
here...
amongst just us three?
Just you three.
Okay.
Just you three.
Okay.
Because normally we could blame Robbie.
There's no way you can blame one of them for this. So, this question was, do you ever sing in front of the mirror with a hairbrush? And this member of Take That answered, I'm a big Elvis fan, so I do the wiggle in front of the mirror and the lip, but it gave me cold sores.
Give me cold sores. I don't remember it'd been me. I am a big Elvis fan.
Very true.
Definitely would have done the old wiggle in the lip.
That's really good, actually. That's really good.
I've never seen you with a cold sore ever.
No, I don't remember the cold sore bits. Maybe
you must have made that up.
Made that
or they
up.
made it up, maybe. What's the strangest dream you've ever had? And the answer was when I woke up and thought my hands were growing.
Sounds like Howard.
It sounds like Howard.
Oh, that's Howard.
The weird stuff's always him. Yeah.
I feel like there'd be some sort of rude thing
It was
underneath
my arms.
that.
It was my arms.
That's 2 out of 2 so far. A little bit naughty right now. The question was, where is the most unusual place you have ever had sex? And the answer was probably in the woods on a dark night. I was 17 at the time and we fancied doing something different. Who was that?
It's got to be him, that.
Howard, do you remember that?
Probably say Robbie. I don't know.
No, it's got to be one
That's
of us.
one of you three.
You'd have to be me then, wouldn't it?
No, that was a certain Mr. Gary Barlow.
That's just not true.
Back in your noughts.
Sounded good though.
So maybe
Certainly not true.
So maybe you were just...
Kids, if you're watching, it wasn't me.
The question here was, what's the cheapest present you've ever given anyone? And the answer was, at the Smash Hits poll winners party, I got a Robson and Jerome picture signed for a mate. That's a pretty cheap present. Who did that?
Robson and Jerome.
Who's the biggest Robson and Jerome fan out of the three of you?
They would. I quite liked Robson and Jerome when they were around. But I'm trying
Love
to
his
think of
fishing
who
show.
would I have got it for?
I remember getting one, a Robson
It's
and
Howard.
Jerome
It's Howard.
signature, but I don't
that's
know if
it.
it might have been at top of the pops.
No, it was you, Mark.
Me?
It was you, with
I
that very
probably would
sharp
do.
cheek.
But who would I have got it for?
That's the question. The next question, do you fancy anyone famous? And the answer was, I've only ever had one major crush in my life, and that was on Kylie, when she used to be in Neighbours. Those overalls, I used to have dreams about her in those overalls.
That's got to be Gary.
Taking them off as well.
Do you still think about those overalls,
love
Gary?
Kylie. Love her.
Those
Love her.
oily overalls.
This is a great one. The question was, what's the most exotic thing you've ever cooked? And the answer was, just the other day, I taught myself how to do some packet potatoes. I've always wondered how you do them. You have to leave them in for hours.
Packet potatoes.
Packet
Like
potatoes,
mash?
the most exotic thing
mash.
you've ever cooked.
Gotta be you then.
Well, I can cook, but maybe back then, if this is old quotes.
That was you, Mark.
Was it?
Smash.
Yeah.
That was
Smash.
you.
I loved
Oh, mash, get smash.
I loved Smash.
So we've got the final two questions. So the second to last, the question was, who would you like to meet? And the answer was Cindy Crawford. But I don't think I'd know how to act. I think I'll lose all my confidence when I meet someone I really want to meet. I wish I could be more like Robbie at Breaking the Ice.
Howard.
That was you. Did you ever get to meet her?
Nah.
And she's still looking amazing
Is
as
she?
well.
Is she?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And the last one. The question was, what's the worst secret that could be revealed about you? And the answer was, I've got a small willy. Who would have said that back in
I just pointed
1996?
at Robbie, I would for that one, but
Definitely one of the three of you.
I probably would have said something along those lines, probably back then.
No, again, I hate to
No.
tell you, it was a certain Mr. Gary Barlow.
me, and that's
But
just
I would have
not
been, I
true.
would have, I would have been lying. I was going to say, but I would have been lying.
But Gary, we have no we have no way to verify that.
Come on, look at that. Put it away. Put it
Now, moving swiftly along, you guys have been sending in some brilliant questions, actually, of a much more family-friendly nature. So we'll go to them. So we'll do this quick fire round, guys. So Kate Byron, she wants to know, apart from Wales, obviously, where has been your favourite place to visit and discover?
in the world.
I love New York.
Oh,
It's just always, whenever we go back there, I just love it.
Yeah, New York's probably the favourite city. I went on holiday to Fiji, which was incredible. It's a
beautiful place.
Yeah.
We were very lucky when joining a band, you get the chance to travel all
Yeah.
over the world. We've seen some amazing
Totally.
places
And
through work.
And also, we've been we're on a mission at the moment to try and play places we've never
Yeah.
played to before, and we're going to your home
Yes!
of New Zealand.
Take that finally in New
Yeah.
Zealand.
Yeah.
at the end of the year. Yeah.
Because you were huge in New Zealand when I was
Were
growing
we?
up. Yeah, at the round the back for good period.
Oh, you see,
Big hit in New
gotta
Zealand.
get that.
Jude Rothschild, and actually I wish I'd come up with this question, Jude, because it's a really interesting one. What would you be doing now if you had decided to not reform with patients? Where do you reckon you'd be, Howard?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think I'll probably be still DJing. I'm still keeping my foot in the door of music, but I don't know. It's a tough one, that.
What do you think, Gary?
Depresses me thinking about it, actually, because we have had the most incredible
Yeah, we have.
10 years, 11
Yeah.
years. Honestly, it couldn't have. It's been brilliant. So I dread to think, yeah.
Mark, what about you?
Same for me. I think. I mean, I was out gigging and making records back then, but maybe I'd still be sort of trying to do that and doing that side of things. But yeah, it just brought a whole new life going back to the band. It sort of re-kicked your life when you felt like your life was not going very far. For me, anyway. It was just.
Well,
sort of
we
give me a
can't
whole
imagine
new-
it
a
not
new
having
colour.
happened
It gave me a
either.
whole new Wonderland.
And my wife always says it's my midlife crisis. So it's not bad, is it?
Well, thank goodness you had one.
right.
This is Amparo Gemino. I think she wants my job because she's looking for the real truth about the anniversary tour next year, because there's been loads of rumours over the last couple of days. Do we have to start saving money for that?
there's no anniversary tour
No.
next year.
No.
So you
I
can
think-
confirm
Well, you
that
can
here
spend,
now.
you can spend your money somewhere else.
Yes.
Yeah, they keep.
Well, you can spend the money on the Wonderland tour,
Yeah, but
obviously.
We've had 2 record labels in our time, and I know they're talking about
Yeah.
doing some kind of commemorative big box set of all the music around this Christmas. But we can definitely tell you there's no plans for touring next year.
Well, that's disappointing news, but because we've got this tour to come.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
that
what
sort
we're
of-
looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question from Renee, who asks, is there an afterlife for the songs which did not make it onto the album? Because, of course, you've seen now the likes of Ed Sheeran, pass their songs on to other artists. And I think you guys wrote over 100 songs for this album.
Yeah, a lot of them
about
don't
30,
get.
didn't we?
Yeah, to finished. A lot. We probably started 70 or
Yeah.
80, but some don't make it past the
Okay.
first chorus. You get to the end of
Yeah,
this
yeah,
chorus
yeah.
and you go,
Yeah.
oh no,
So you
that's
just
quite right.
discard it.
So there's. But I always think it's sort of one big song that you're almost writing
Yeah.
for your life, and all
sometimes-
these bits come.
Yeah,
come
sometimes to get to the song you want, you have to write this one as well, and you go past that. But I think, I think you leave them because they're in the past there, and you want to move forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And those songs you actually hear on the Wonderland album, those are the ones that Ed Sheeran passed on to us.
Britt Swires asks, have you guys ever thought about participating at the Eurovision Song Contest? A great idea, I think.
No.
I would.
I'd perform on it, but I wouldn't be in it.
I'd be in it.
You
I'd be
would
in it
not.
full.
No,
I'd be in it
come
full
on.
outfit. I'm sorry if somebody. Listen.
There you go,
Fast,
next year.
fast
We
forward.
just don't stand
no,
a
no,
chance.
it's a
We
band.
just don't stand a chance, do we, UK?
Let's fast
Not
forward.
now.
All I'm saying. Fast forward 5 years.
Definitely not now.
Oh, no,
Fast
yeah.
forward a few years from now, and you'll see the three of us like Bucks Fizz up there.
Mark in his onesie.
And me and my onesie, yeah.
And just finally, this is a great last question as well from Angela Neal, who wants to know, if you could have anyone, past or present, in your band, just for a little period, not permanently,
Anybody.
but anybody
In the world, ever.
anyone from Elvis to
In the world ever.
anyone, who would you each
Well,
choose?
Elvis was the original pop star,
Yeah.
wasn't he? He was the first one
Yeah.
that did film, TV,
Yeah.
music. Let's think.
So I imagine, Mark, you would probably go with Elvis, wouldn't you?
No, you've just got me now. I'm thinking Eurovision, and I've gone all sparkly
Oh,
and flowery. And there's one person that I did really love when I was growing up as well. I loved Elvis, but there was another person,
Who?
Doris Day.
Oh, female and take that.
Really?
Doris Day. I love Doris Day. The
Is that a
movies that she
musical
used
thing
to
or a
do.
sexual thing?
Maybe a bit of both.
What about
I
you,
love
Gary?
Doris Day.
Sutcliffe.
Oh, that would be nice.
Wouldn't he be great?
That would be great.
He'd have been a great boy. Mind you, he was in
Yeah.
the Shadows, wasn't
Yeah.
he? So he has been in a band, but...
Howard?
I'd say the backing band of Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah.
That would be a very good
Trumpet
one.
section.
Well, guys, we've covered off everything
Wow.
in this
Brilliant.
Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining us today. I should say as well, make sure you check out the Bazaar column tomorrow where there will be much, much more of Take That. And of course, Wonderland out right now. Great present for Mother's Day, I would
Thank
say.
you, everybody.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.